Barbara is our largest district. We had over 500 sales in that district in 2017, and that's 48% of our market. And Santa Barbara is what we call east of state and west of state, and it's in Santa Barbara proper. Prices there are up 6.2% year over year from 2016 to 2017, and that beat the overall market. The height of the market was 2005, and we are over it. Santa Barbara reflects, because it's our biggest market segment, it reflects the overall market the best from what we're going to look at today. And the lowest price, let's see, we're in 2011 was a low point, and that's the same as our San Ricky example. We just put that there. And the low point was 37.5% below the top. The last 5 years, and you're going to see this with all the districts, we've had really strong growth in the last 5 years. That's 38%. And the number of sales, we're up a little bit more too. Oh, and then it's quite a bit higher, the number of sales, interestingly, than in 2005, we're 16% higher in number of sales. That's the blue line. So let's look at Goleta. Goleta is the Goleta Valley. So we call it North Goleta and South Goleta, but it's really everything up above 154, and it can go all the way up to Gaviota. Even so, it's a smaller segment of our market. It's not as big. And their prices are up 4.6%. There's the top of the market, and Goleta's not at the top. We're at 94% of the top. The last 5 years, we're seeing solid growth at 17%. And sales are up 3.7% over the last year. And look at the steep increase in the number of sales from 2011 to 2012. 100 more Goleta houses sold in 2012 and 2011. That's like a 40% increase, and people knew it was a good time to buy. And here's a sample. So one thing I want to say is that when we talk about houses versus condos, houses also include what we call PUDs, and those are planned unit developments. And that's how we track our stats. This is a Mountain View Ranch home that sold in March of 2005 for $945,000. And a few doors down, same style house, also backed up to the Greenbelt, sold for $865,000. And that is 92% of the top of the market. And again, Goleta is at 94%. So Carpinteria at Summerlin. This is a market segment that's only 8% of our total sales. And we keep track of the different districts because they're different geographically and they also behave differently. Carpinteria had, there's our median price of $1,040,000, and that's a 14.3% increase year over year, and that's the highest of any of the districts. However, it's only 82% of the height of the market. The low point was 2011, and that's 49% below the height of the market. However, I want to make a note about Carpinteria. So look at that scale on the right. There we go. The number of sales is a lot less. We had just 95 sales in 2017 and 84 in 2016, and only 69 in 2005. So that will affect the median sales price. The median was $1.262 million in 2005, but it was $922.5 in 2004. So that year it went up 37%, whereas the market as a whole went up 24%. So when you have a small market, the number in the middle can change with just a couple of sales. So let's look at a Carpinteria example. So we've got 5 years, and then we've got the number of sales there. This is a Craven's Lane, also a PUD, in 1,700 square feet, great condition each time it's sold in March for $925,000 of 2005, and then in March again in 2017 for $804,000. So our stats are pretty close there to what an actual happened, and that's 87% of the top of the market. If you go back one more year to the median, which was $922 in Carpinteria, there's a house on Treste Lane, sold for $945,000 in October of 2004. Sold again, also in nice condition, in 2017 for $979,000. So that was 104% of 2004 prices. So before we move on to the luxury market, I'm going to look at condos quickly. So there's our median sales price for condos, $630,000. Condos in, this is going to be all the districts, from Goleta to Monterey, Santa Barbara, Hope Ranch, everything all put together. Condos are 25% of our total market sales. And we had 4.6% increase in condo sales prices over the past year. 2005 was again, it's going to change, but 2005 for condos was also the height of the market. And a low point, 2012, just like the Goleta houses, and we're down 40% from the top. There's the number of sales. Looks like the number of sales has dropped in the last 2 years, but it hasn't. Last year I spoke about, we had about 115 pending sales in the village at Los Caneros, which is a 300 plus unit complex out of Goleta. When you add those in for the last 2 years, that dotted line there is our number of sales. And we don't normally track that here because it's unusual for our community to have that many new homes in 1 year. So let's look at a little look back of a condo. This is a west side condo. 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, sold in February of 2005 for $680 in good condition. Sold again, slightly better conditions, last October for $625. That's 92% of the top of the market. So I want to look at the luxury market a little bit. Hope Ranch, this is even more, what I said about Carpinteria is even more so for Hope Ranch. So we have between 20 and 30 sales a year, usually in Hope Ranch, which is not a lot. So that median is going to fluctuate. I'm going to put it up here, but take it a little bit with a grain of salt because a couple of houses selling on either end can really change that median. So we had the top of the market though, the first top of the market in 2005, and then it went up again in 2015. But we've had 5 years steady increase in prices there too. And then we had 32 sales in Hope Ranch in 2017, which is up 52% from the year before. But it's important to look at the whole graph and look back a couple of years. Because between 2011 and 2017, the prices were between like 27 and 32. So 2016, with 21 sales, is the outlier here. It was in 2017. So for the luxury market, we need a bigger sample size. So Montecito had 177 sales in 2017, and there's our median, 2,949,000, 500,000. Montecito market is 15% of all the homes we sell here in our South Coast. The Montecito market, the top, we have 5.5% increase, and the top of the market was 2008. So 3 years after the lower end, the condos, the Goleta houses, but it did react after the financial crisis and prices dropped. We are up 23% in the last 5 years, and Montecito's at the top of the market, 92% of what it was at the height. And I did find a home to show you as an example. And it's interesting when you're looking at doing the research. Our database does not say, oh, I want to find a house in 2005 and a house that sold in 2008 and one in 2017. I did all this by hand. So these are not cherry-picked examples. They're the first one I found. and in Montecito, it's like, oh, that was a ranch house. Now it's modern. Okay, I can't compare that. So I found one that's in substantially the same condition at 2008, which was the top of the market in 2017. And that one's 90% of the top. And overall, Montecito, 92% of the top. So one of the things, I put Montecito last for a reason, because I didn't want to choke up when I was up here. And people have asked me when I was getting ready for this talk, what's going to happen to Montecito? Everybody wants to know what's going to happen to Montecito. I think the number of sales is going to change. The number of sales is going to go down. Last January, this day, we had 116 active listings in Montecito and 14 pending sales, which is about 8 months of inventory. Today we have 16.7 months of inventory with 100 active listings and 6 pending sales. So when the top end of the market, the sales slow down, which they have in the past, that brings our median price down. And we'll have fewer sales at the top end of the market. I think that's going to be offset somewhat by what's happening in the rest of the market, and I'm going to talk about that in a couple minutes, because it's going really strong. 400 properties in Montecito were damaged or destroyed with our disasters that we spoke about earlier. And that's about 10% of 4,000. So 10% of the properties were affected, but all of us were affected. I mean, every single one of us was affected in one way or another. And one of the things I think to say about this is I found a post online. And the original poster lived in Carpinteria, kind of on the border between Carp and Montecito, and said she's going crazy, I don't know what to do. Do I stay or do I go? Do I rebuild? Do I move out? And she said she changed her mind pretty much every other day. And here's one response I'm just going to read to you because I think it sums it up. And this is a poster who responded to her and said, our sense of security has been rattled, and we've had to figure out a longer-term place to put a roof over our family. But the overwhelming support of our community is what's keeping us here for now. We too flip-flop each day, taking it one day at a time. The beauty is what brought us here, and the people are what keep us here. So, you could look at a picture of my dog. That's hard.
That's Joey.
That's Joey. And that's at Castles Beach, like the day after the fire across the San Barbara County line. So, what I'm going to say about the market and what I'm hearing is that we don't know yet. Because the people in Montecito and Carpinteria don't know yet what they're going to do. And it's just too soon to know. And when you're out there dealing with your clients and talking to other professionals in the field, everybody wants an answer. And I have found that that answer works. It's too soon to know. Yes, sales are going to be affected, and it's too soon to know. So there's my dog looking intently at something at the beach. So he's looking close up. So let's look back a little bit. This is all the stats to kind of recap that I went over. When you take a wider look, our scale is much different. The dips in the valleys and the peaks don't look as bad. And this is what we went over. So today versus the top of the market, all houses are exactly the same. Santa Barbara's over, Carpinteria is under. And then the 5-year increase on the right, really solid numbers there. This is my favorite slide. So this is not districts, this is all price ranges. And the hot over there on the lower price ranges in the 500,000 all the way up to 1.5 million is a red hot seller's market. And we define a seller's market with about less than 4 months worth of inventory. And inventory is if no new houses come on the market at the current rate of sales and when will everything be sold. A balanced market, 4 to 6 months, and then a buyer's market, 6 months. So this should actually be read a little bit further. Forgot to change the colors from last year. Last year, our buyer's market started at about 2.5, 3 million, and this year the buyer's market doesn't start until almost 5 million. And then we had 69 months of inventory there. And look at this I just did 2 days ago. So the Board of Realtors, Association of Realtors, publishes these charts every month. And if you're a member, you can download them, and I love them. It gives you a snapshot of what's happening right now, what the median price was for the last 30 days. As we go through the year, the column on the left is going to reflect year-to-date. So the bigger market segment we have, the more accurate our numbers are. And you can look at the months of inventory there. We have active listings divided by pending listings, and Montecito is a little bit higher, but still, 2 months, 3 months, really strong seller's market with lots of inventory. I mean, with not a lot of inventory. A quick note about distressed sales. Still very low, 1.4% short sales and foreclosures last year. And hardly anybody's asking about them anymore, which is good. So what do we predict for 2018? I'm a stats geek. I've kept these numbers and found some before, and love to look at that. So we've got active listings, sold listings, and then the median price of houses. So what's going to happen in 2018? As Austin said, interest rates are going to go up. We have a new tax law. We have some really strong devastation in our community. But we also have really high demand still to live here. We have a low supply. And I think it's one of the most beautiful and compassionate places to live in the world. So I think prices are going to go up. There's the top, by about 3% next year. We have 2 more speakers this afternoon. The commercial is next, and they're going to tell us more about what's happening in the economy and what's happening with the commercial market, and then we're going to hear from Leslie Appleton Young with a whole bunch more information, statewide and national. So we may modify that number a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you, Kalia. Staff are cool.